Welcome to Lats Rats TV. This is the PLL Week 1 recap. Um, the way we're going to do this is we're going to do 3 stars from each team and then a positive and a negative point takeaway from the game from each team. And then we'll throw in any other relevant info in there. I think that's, it'll get you the info you need to know as quick as possible. So 3 stars for New York. It was a 10-8 win for New York. And the 3 stars, Entenmann, Baptiste, Makar. And then 3 stars for Carolina, Ray, Eicher, Rowlett. Yeah, for New York, positive, red hot start. They went up 4-0 right away, largely because of the face-offs. Obviously, Baptiste is one of the greatest we've seen. And then 32-second efficiency. They should be winning. They should be dominating face-offs all season. Baptiste tends to dominate. He's shown that before. And that they were throwing O-mids on the wings because they were winning them so much, which is a massive advantage for the 32-second shot clock efficiency. Don't have to sub as much. And, I mean, if they can dial that in, they could be putting up the most goals in the league every single week. So that didn't quite come into fruition as Carolina, bounced back a little bit. That's the negative for New York. The offense disappointed a little bit after that hot start. I mean, the off-ball movement for this team is elite. You can see it every single possession. Forced Carolina to face guard them off-ball. They stapled to every single cut, everything, which really came down to the one-on-one matchups because all the off-ball defensemen were occupied. And I was a little disappointed the Atlas couldn't win more of those or didn't recognize more of those scenarios. But, this team, this offense, in tandem with Baptiste is going to be dangerous. Especially the 3 stars I named are all defensive guys. So this is going to be a juggernaut of a team later on down the line. Carolina plus minus, like we said, Ray, Eicher, Rowlett, 3 stars. Plus Blaze and the battle tested defense are so reliable. You know what you're getting from this team, from this defense week in and week out. Blaze, I feel like, has never had an off week in like the history of me watching the PLL. Off-ball communication was awesome. That's how they kept up with, Atlas's off-ball movement, and then they won a lot of one-on-one matchups, which it's a great defense, but like I would have guessed that the Atlas offense would have dominated that a little more. Negative for Carolina, offense looked a bit discombobulated. Eicher is a stud. I'm a big Eicher fan. I guess the question for here is who is the guy, or who are the guys that they're going to go to? It felt like there were almost like battles for see who's going to be their couple guys, their staples, their go-tos. Just not a lot of cohesiveness. All right, next game, Denver versus California. 15-12 win for California. Exciting game. California surprised a little bit. I don't know if many people expected them to come out hot like that. They looked young. They looked energetic. But 3 stars for Denver, Pacino, O'Neill, Geddes, and for California, Kavanaugh, McAdory, and Malloy. So Denver positives. Weirman drew a massive matchup against TD Erlin. And he did pretty solid. He did better than he did. I mean, when people think of TD, they think of domination as they do with Baptiste. But Weirman held his own. He did great. If their two-way mids their two-way mids looked pretty good in Tarasenko and Geddes. And now they have Bernhardt too. Who knows exactly what he's gonna do? He could do anything, but. Like that could be big for them, winning faceoffs and scoring. So the negative, offense looked a bit stagnant. A lot of 1v1 dodging. I mean, they have elite dodgers with, O'Neill, Kavanaugh, Pat Kavanaugh, and it looked a little stagnant. I think, as the year goes on, obviously they're going to be a little more cohesive, play a little bit more together, and be more on the same page. And I think that this offense could be dangerous. Obviously, they have the trio of Tewaaraton, Attackman. But yeah, I can't wait till they put it together. They get a little more cohesive, I guess, on offense. For California, young and energetic. I mean, this team was flying around. So much fun to watch. They didn't even have Sammy English yet either. So I can't wait to watch this team grow together. I think they're going to steal a couple games early in the season, and then maybe their experience bites them a little bit at the end. But I mean, man, with Chris Cav, McAdory, Malloy, you've got English coming. Like Bertrand's a big boy. He's a tough matchup. Like I just loved it. I love watching this team. This is going to be one of the most fun teams to watch, I think, all season long. The negative would be, is experience going to bite him in the butt? Because obviously it's a lot of young guys. But, I mean, the energy's there, so we'll see. Next game, Utah, Maryland. So this one was a 8-7 win for Utah. Might have been the game of the week. Definitely not the game of the week. I think Boston, New York was the game of the week. But most anticipated game of the week, I guess. 3 stars for Utah, Fields, Dobson, Hossack. And for Maryland, Nardella, Zappatella, Malone. Utah positive. Literally, this roster is insane. There's no holes on this roster. Studs everywhere. A lot of like little stickwork issues that I feel like would have, they usually connect. It felt like they were just like somebody was just like a step in the wrong direction or a pass was like an inch off. We can chalk that up to the weather and, to week 1 woes. But, I mean, obviously this team is going to be a juggernaut. They're going to be tough to deal with. And I think, as Chem continues to build as the season goes on, maybe we get a little bit of better weather. This team's going to pile up some rubber in the back of the net. Negative, Nardella's obviously a stud, but face-offs were definitely notably lopsided. I love Mike Siss, so I can't wait to see that dude heat up. But it definitely could be a problem with them, if they're playing teams with a good face-off unit and a good 32-second efficiency, like think New York, think Maryland. Like this is a team that's vying for a championship. Utah's vying for a championship. So ability to, if they can't stop the face-off, they can't stop the 32-second offense, like that gives a team ability to go on runs, which could be dangerous for them down the line. Maryland, like we said, Nardella, Zappatella, Malone, positive. Nardella's going nowhere. I feel like he's been at his peak form for years. Like the dude, statistically last year was the best forward in the league. Easily could do it again. He looked awesome. Negative, what are we going to do with the face-off wins? You're winning all these face-offs. 32-second shot clock efficiency wasn't good enough. Obviously, like, we'll chalk it up to week 1 woes again. Hopefully we can see him, progress as the season goes on. They have some of the most experienced guys in the game with, Rambo and Pennell and some of the young studs with like Malone. And like, I feel like they're going to put it together, but, I guess the product wasn't there yet in week 1. Boston, New York, Saturday night lacrosse. This was my favorite game of the week, not just because I'm a Cannons fan, but 16-12 win for Boston. 3 stars for Boston, Curse, Drenner, Ramsey. Colin Curse, that is. For New York, Teat, Adler, Baptiste, plus minus. So Boston, like, things were humming all over the field. I mean, they looked like the best team this weekend. There's really no other way to say it. Offense looked crisp. They looked cohesive. Defense held it together. One of my favorite players to watch, Mick Kelly. I think Mick Kelly's he looked like an animal. He looked like he's going to be a matchup problem. So I can't wait to see him progress. Looks like almost like a second coming of Matt Campbell, and we all know what he did last year. Negative face-off unit is obviously going to be a question mark all season. Tucci held his own against one of the best we've ever seen in Baptiste. There really just aren't too many negatives to talk about this team, honestly. For New York, we talked about some takeaways from the weekend for them earlier, but they played the back-to-back. You can chalk it up to that, I guess, but they just looked a step slower. They didn't look as together, I guess, so we'll see. I mean, I think that team's going to be a juggernaut, so we'll see moving forward. But week 2 power rankings after that weekend, Utah Archers looking for the three-peat at number 1, Boston Cannons number 2, Atlas 3, Maryland 4, Philly 5, California 6, Denver 7, and Carolina in the 8. So we'll see. Thanks for tuning into episode 1, and we'll catch you for the preview, for week 3's preview.